Imagine if a large part of the Earth breaks and falls into the sea, and 100 feet high waves wash away the entire city. Or a supervolcano blast lowers the temperature of the world so much that we go into a new ice age. Or a poisonous monster rises under the ice, whose heat destroys every corner of the world. This is not a science fiction story, but natural threats that can end human life in one blow. Welcome to Factline videos once again. Viewers, today we will talk about the 4 sleeping natural disasters on Earth, which have the full ability to destroy the world. According to scientists, the arrival of these natural disasters is confirmed. But when? First of all, let's talk about Doomsday Glacier. Although its name is Thwaites Glacier, but why it is called Doomsday Glacier, you will find out in a little while. We all know that the sea level is increasing day by day, and new problems are arising for humans. But how big the upcoming challenges will be, and how much time we have left, all depends on this Doomsday Glacier. This glacier, located in the west of Antarctica, is more than 1 kilometer deep in many places. That is, it is deeper than Burj Khalifa. In addition to being deep, it is spread over 120 kilometers, which makes it the world's widest glacier. This glacier, spread over an area of 192,000 square km, is so big that it can accommodate 318 cities like Mumbai or Karachi. For many years, this glacier has been melting very fast, which has increased by 4% at sea level so far. But its location is the most dangerous thing. Thwaites Glacier is a small part of the entire West Antarctic ice sheet, but its melting poses a threat to the melting of the entire ice sheet, which can cause the sea level to rise by 3 meters or about 10 feet in the coming years. And this is because Thwaites Glacier is located right in the middle of the West Antarctic ice sheet. Experts say that the entire structure of the West Antarctic ice sheet is on Thwaites Glacier. If it is not stopped from melting, it will flood the entire West Antarctica, which will lead to the rule of seawater in the cities on the coast. In these cities, the names of cities such as Mumbai, New York, Jakarta, Bangkok, and Dhaka come at the top. If you look at this animation, this is the Antarctic ice sheet. It is quite deep from the middle because the centuries-old snowfall has made it thicker from the middle. As it is getting thicker from the middle, glaciers are coming out towards the Antarctic Ocean due to the same weight. Glaciers coming out, which have water below them, are called ice shelves. Global warming is heating both water and air, which is why the ice shelves on both sides are also melting, but in different ways. Because the level of land in the east of Antarctica is above the ocean, the water does not reach the glaciers here, and the ice melts slowly here. But West Antarctica is different. Most of it is below the sea level. This means that water can go below it, weaken it, and melt it quickly. This is why West Antarctica is considered the most important part of the world in terms of climate change. To understand it correctly, look at the survey map of the land below Antarctica. In its east, the land is higher than the sea level, which is shown in red and yellow. Whereas in its west, where the land is shown in blue, it is below the sea level. Especially this dark blue part is the lowest, and this is the Doomsday Glacier. At present, this ice shelf is hanging above the water, while the water below it has made it hollow. Every passing year, its pieces break and mix with the ocean, and the water of the ocean continues to make it more hollow from below. If we talk about 1992 to now, during this time, the water of the ocean has made it hollow by 14 kilometers. If the matter continues to run at this speed, then soon this whole glacier will break and fall into the Antarctic Ocean. The Thwaites Glacier, which has already increased the sea level by 4% in the last 30 years, will increase the level of all these oceans by half a meter when it melts completely. This time may not be too far, because researchers have already found a very large crack in the Doomsday Glacier, which no one can stop now. The question is not whether the Thwaites Glacier will break or not, but the question is when. And as you already know, this thing can invite a very big destruction. West Antarctic ice sheet, there is no doubt that after this happens, the process of melting in this ice sheet will also be triggered, which will increase the level of the ocean by 3 meters. In the event of this happening, coastal cities will have to be emptied suddenly. According to the survey by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, more than 1 billion people live in the cities that will be affected by this. When all those people go to higher areas, they will see the economic imbalance of the whole world. In addition, rapid changes will be seen in the weather of the whole world, in which dangerous tsunamis, hurricanes, and floods will become very common. Yellowstone Supervolcano is located in the Wyoming state of America in Yellowstone National Park. It is an active volcano system, which is one of the world's largest and most dangerous supervolcanoes. Yellowstone is not just a small mountain that can burst, it is a supervolcano which is filled with a lot of magma, i.e. molten stone. If it bursts, its effects will not only be limited to America, but the whole world will have to face destruction. Yellowstone is located in a large caldera, which is about 70 kilometers long and 50 kilometers wide. This means that it is like a giant crater, which was formed after ancient volcanic eruptions. Experts believe that this supervolcano erupts once every 6 to 7 million years. The last time it erupted was about 640,000 years ago, and 13 million years before that, and 21 million years before that, there was a big explosion. Looking at its past record, it would not be wrong to say that Yellowstone supervolcano can burst at any time in the next 60,000 years. If Yellowstone supervolcano bursts, its effects will not only be limited to one country, but it can easily engulf the whole world. It will destroy any city within a radius of 1,000 kilometers in one blast. Due to the explosion, it will release gases such as volcanic ash and sulfur dioxide in the air, which will change the climate of the whole world. The clouds of ash will be so thick that the sun's light will not be able to fall on the ground for many years, which will cause the Earth's temperature to drop. This phenomenon is called volcanic winter. Crops will stop growing, and there will be a shortage of food all over the world. Even if people survive, diseases will spread among them. Due to the presence of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere, rain will not be in the form of water, but in the form of acid. According to reports, if Yellowstone bursts today, at least 70% of the world's population could die. Now it's the turn of the Vieja Volcano. 700 miles from the northwest coast of Africa are the Canary Islands of Spain. Here, this island called La Palma was formed 40 lakh years ago due to the Vieja Volcano. This volcano is still active and can pose a huge threat to the world. During the last 60 years, volcanic eruptions have made a fault line, a crack in this island, which can also be seen in Google Earth. This crack is 6,000 feet above sea level. Scientists say that if there is a major eruption, the damage caused by the lava will be on one side, but a large part of the island can fall into the sea. Geologists believe that if the fault line is completely cracked, about 500 billion tons of heavy stones will slide at a speed of 250 kilometers per hour and fall into the sea. Due to this landslide, the seawater will jump and fall for about 1 kilometer, which will start a series of tsunamis that will leave its mark all over the world. Experts have named it the mega tsunami. These waves will travel up to 4,000 miles in every direction of the sea, which will have a bad impact on Europe, America, and Africa. Waves larger than 100 feet will destroy the entire system inside the coastal cities. La Palma's volcano is a time bomb that can explode at any time, and its impact will not only affect the Canary Islands, but the whole world can be affected by it. But because this slide is tilted to the west, it is understood that it will have the greatest impact on the American East Coast, where Miami and Orlando are located. And if the city is not empty on time, the mega tsunami can take millions of lives. And now, finally, let's talk about permafrost. 11% of our world is permafrost ground, i.e. the part of the Earth whose temperature is less than 0 degrees Celsius for 12 months of the year. Permafrost is mostly found in polar regions, including half of Canada, 2/3 of Russia, and the Tibetan Plateau. And these permafrost has been in the same condition for millions of years, but not anymore. There is an active layer on top of the permafrost layer, which freezes in the winters, but melts back in the summers. Under this layer, the permafrost layer remains less than 0 degrees Celsius throughout the year. Because of this, permafrost works like a deep freezer. For millions of years, trees, plants, animals, and microorganisms have been frozen and preserved in this permafrost, whose decomposition process does not start at all. But due to global warming, every year the active layer of permafrost is getting deeper and deeper. And thousands of years old animals are rising from here in the same condition as they were at the time of their death. When permafrost melts, the organic matter in it begins to melt. They start eating bacteria and release methane gas. Experts believe that today there is 4 times more carbon in permafrost than there is pollution in the world, and it is spreading slowly in the atmosphere. When so much greenhouse gases come into the environment, the average temperature of the world will increase by 8 degrees Celsius. Because of this, glaciers will melt. The melting of glaciers will disturb the supply of fresh water in the world. The sea level will rise by 5 meters, and such a seasonal change will be seen, in which it will be impossible for humans to live near the equator. Most people think that the melting of permafrost is the destruction in the future. But in fact, this destruction has already begun. Every year, in different parts of the world, the active layer of permafrost is getting thicker and thicker. In Siberia, the living proof of this is the Batakaika crater, which was formed due to the melting of permafrost and the penetration of it into the ground. And now it is getting bigger every year. If the process of permafrost melting continues in this way, which no one can stop, then in the next 50 to 70 years, 70% of the world's permafrost will melt. Even if fossil fuels are destroyed today, it is still impossible to stop permafrost from melting. I hope you will like and share this video of your TV. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.